Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King. And today I'm going to be giving you the final episode, yes guys, the final episode of What If the 10 Tails was sealed within Naruto guys. I hope you have enjoyed this series. Thank you for all of your support and help guys and following me on this journey. And thank you for enjoying and viewing the video. But don't be sad guys because this just means new series are going to be out, so don't worry about anything guys. And I do hope you enjoy the final episode. And also, go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto is a Badass Genius that I posted over on Anime King. And later on, I'm going to be posting What If Naruto returned different after his training trip. And on this channel, I'm going to be posting a new episode of What If Aizuna Uchiha was Naruto's ancestor, so stay tuned for that and I hope you guys enjoy. So yeah, without further ado, let's begin this new episode. Start the intro, guys.
I think the girls with their nails done now. Girls with their nails done. I think the girls with their
So, the last part we left off, the battle has begun, as Naruto arrived with the white Zetsus, as he started slaughtering ninjas from all over the nations, as the ninjas striking from all over, as they sent back the report nothing was killing him, even a fatal strike to the heart, nothing was killing him, as Naruto kept on slaughtering ninjas after ninjas. Meanwhile, Jubi was in the forest as she was walking around, as Madara told her to conserve her strength until the time was ready, as she must not enter the battle yet. The time went on, as Naruto came up on the side of Saya and Killer Bee trying to get past Kushina and the Raikage. As Naruto saw them there, the Raikage knew that Naruto was a deadly foe, but in a blur Naruto grabbed Kushina by the throat and slammed her into the ground. As Saya cried out, as she rushed over, but Naruto backhanded her away. As Kushina told Saya that she loved her, as Naruto tear out Kushina's throat, as he was going rather insane, as Saya broke down in tears, as Naruto felt empty after doing that, as he was wondering if he was going crazy or insane or something. Something was definitely wrong with him. The Raikage attacked Naruto but Naruto dodged and stabbed him on the shoulder. As Naruto then headed off, as the Raikage came back to where the other Kages were, as Minato showed them his toe, the crystal on it, and soon enough it would build up to the rest of his body killing him, as Naruto can turn anybody into crystal with this ability. As the Raikage saw a small crystal on his back where Naruto stabbed him, soon enough he would die as well. As Minato was broken, knowing that his wife was dead, but right now he need to worry about the war, because if his mind is cloudy, they will lose. The Shinigami King then came, as he told them there's a chance where they can win, and peace will be on this era. As Naruto then collapsed to the ground where he was, as something was wrong, as Jubi felt it as well. The Shinigami King had some demons do it, as Naruto was being transformed into a full demon, meaning that the connection with him and Jubi was severed. She was no longer his Biju, he was no longer her Jinchuriki host, as Naruto's eyes were now purple, and he was different, he was now a demon. But Naruto had a plan to eradicate everything. But he needed Jubi at her full form, so she went and absorbed her full form from the statue, as she turned back into her giant wolf form. But she had 8 tails, she still needed the 9 tails within Saya. As Naruto had her plan about his epic attack that is to come. And meanwhile, Kimura was in Konoha, as he was killing a lot of civilians, as Madara told him to do it. The Shinigami King gave Minato an orb, as there was a seal inside of a village, which would help. With the power of that seal, they will win this war. As Minato quickly head back to the village, as he need to find the seal which was under the Hokage's tower. So yeah guys, that was basically the last part we left off. You guys can switch your contemplation objective for yourself, so let's start this new episode. Minato blinked as he was in the basement of the Hokage's tower, as he had the orb as it was glowing, as he looked down at the tile. Meanwhile, with Madara and Kabuto, have all of the revival push towards Konoha. Jubi and Naruto are taking him out in one blow, Madara said, looking at Kabuto. Huh? And how do you know this will work? Asked Kabuto. Jubi will attack first, while Naruto used a technique 10 times powerful than the one he used to attack Konoha before. I have no doubt that he will kill them all, without anyone there to revive them all, Madara said. Of course, Kabuto said, as he sent all of the revival shinobis. Meanwhile, Jubi watched as Naruto draws a symbol with his blood, the large circle with small kanjis in it. Even she couldn't understand it. She knew that Naruto studied Fuinjutsu scrolls inside her vault, and even created a few symbols for sealing, but she never knew it went this far. She knew the technique contained 4 stages, but she only knew about the last one, the one where she would be a part of. Naruto continued to pour out his blood, as it started to turn green. Liquefied uranium. Is that uranium? She asks. Yeah, I don't get how, but it no longer feels as toxic as it was when I was human, Naruto said. Demonhood does that, she said. But why are we doing this so early, she asks. What made this technique so powerful is because you have 4 stages. To prepare for the first stage, you must prepare the seals with the uranium in the surrounding area you want to attack. First, I'll create all of these, he said as he waved his hand over the spiral seals. As all of them started to spin as they form into a star. What does it do? Asked Jubi. The seal holds a large amount of liquid uranium. When it is released, it will form mountains amount of uranium so it can complete the next stage. The next stage creates a large barrier to keep the rest of the blast inside. The barrier will be made out of mixtures as many metals as possible. The third stage will suck in all the power of the uranium. It will give me such a power boost. I will have more power than you will have at full power, I'm guessing. But I won't be able to hold it for long and thus start the final stage. You will push as much as your chakra into me, and then I'll let it loose. Only you and I won't be affected by the blast, and then boom, utter destruction, Naruto said. The downside is I'll be very weak after. My chakra coils will be empty. I'll probably go into a coma as my body tries to heal itself, and this can probably last up to 5 years, he said, I'm guessing. This technique is so powerful. How did you even design it? Asked Jubi. You know I'm smart. Smarter than I seem and act. Even though I like to attack, I study and learn from every attack and every dodge. I designed this technique after thinking about every attack, every bomb that I've created so far, and I knew that I could make something even more powerful. At least I'll live in the end, he said. Okay then, let's create the rest of the seals, Jubi said. Meanwhile at Konoha, everyone listen to the following orders. All civilians and genins are to go to the underground, safe grounds until further order. Pack up anything you want, extra food if you wish. This may last up to a week. One of the remaining jonins behind shouted out, as whispers broke out. Please hurry up, danger will be coming this way, he said. Genins, help civilians pack and move everything they want to bring. Meanwhile, Minato was watching 3 genin dig up the ground of the Hokage's tower, as he had the orb which was glowing in his hand. Time skip. Finally, after the longest day Naruto had ever felt, they created all of the seals. Now he and Jubi would rest to wake up the next morning and start the final circle, which will take most of the next day, and the forces will arrive the other day. As Naruto wondered if Jubi told Madara and the others stay away from the blast, because they will be killed. Oh well, Naruto shrugged. Jubi most likely told him. The next morning came quickly, as Jubi and Naruto woke up quickly, as they set on to work. Meanwhile, with the group, we're just a half day away from Konoha. The other forces are on their way as well. We will postpone our movement here. As they speed up, we will meet them there, Kakashi stated, as he was with the other shinobis. The other Kages are on their way as well, Akumo shinobi said, as Kakashi nodded. Meanwhile, Minato was holding the orb in his hand as he was looking at the seal. The orb was going crazy as energy was leaking out of it as it was cracking, as he wanted to see what this seal held. As all of Konoha was in the safety area, as Minato bent down and placed the orb on the seal, as the glowing grew brighter and brighter as the seal started to light up as it was a high-pitched sound. Minato winced as he held his hand to his ears. "What the hell is this?" he said, as he watched the seal suddenly vanish away. The lines, the markings, they were no longer there. What happened? What the hell did it do? Minato asked as the noise died down. Shouldn't the seal be holding something? He wondered. "It's a pleasure to meet you. May I ask? Where am I?" said a voice. Minato froze as he spun around to see a man standing there. "Who are you?" Minato asked. "Your generation probably know me as the Sage of Six Paths," the man said. Meanwhile, with Jubi, her eyes snapped open wide as an angry growl went loose. "What is it?" Naruto asked. "I sense his chakra," Jubi said, as she clenched her fists. "That's impossible, he's dead," Naruto said. "Not even him can cheat death." As Naruto knew exactly who she was talking about, who he is, as he knew the only person that can get this reaction out of Jubi. But not even the Sage of Six Paths could be able to come back to life. He died so many years ago. He may be called the god of Shinobi, but he's not a real god. You're right, the damn Shinigami King may be copying his chakra just to get a rise out of me, Jubi said. "No," said Jashin, "he's back. That seal in Konoha, it held the sage's soul somehow. He's really back." "Impossible," Naruto said. "But it doesn't matter. He won't be able to stop my attack. He'll be busy fighting off Madara forces and Jubi. We'll get him." "I can't wait to drive my katana right through his heart," Jubi said. "I cannot do anything against him. He may be a mortal, but he was stronger than I. He's called a god for a reason," Jashin said. "I will give some of my power to Naruto and I will heal all of his future wounds. That is all I can do," he said. "You can't do enough," Jubi said. "Right now Naruto will finish all the preparations." "When will it be done?" she asked. "By tomorrow," Naruto said. "That's good," said Jubi. Meanwhile, with Minato, the Sage of Six Paths, as Minato saw the Rinnegan eyes, as he could feel the chakra radiating off of the man. This was much more powerful than the Kyuubi. This was the man that defeated the Jubi, after all. "Yes, who are you and where am I?" the sage asked. "My name is Minato Namikaze. I'm the 4th Hokage of Konoha. There's a war with Jubi on the other side. She's working with her Jinchuriki, Naruto Namikaze." "Is this Naruto Namikaze your son?" the sage asked. As Minato nodded. "He's undefeatable and insane. He killed his own mother, and he wants to kill his sister." "His sister? What for?" the sage asked, as he wanted to get a grip on the situation. "She's the Jinchuriki of the 9 tails. Jubi and Naruto has been hunting the other tail beasts. They have 1 up to 7. Naruto wants to give all of the power back to Jubi. She has created many bloodlines over the years, and she can use them all," Minato said. "She's unstoppable." "Not unstoppable," the sage said. "She has many weaknesses, one being her rage. As she gained sense of moral, as she earned any other emotion other than rage and anger?" he asked, as he was curious. "I believe the Jubi may have started here for Naruto," Minato said. If he was her Jinchuriki, she could have broken through the seal, meaning that she does truly care for him. Heavily so, or else she would have killed him already and left the seal. But you have opened the seal, meaning if it wasn't the full power of the Jubi, the Shinigami has helped you. Tell me more about what Jubi has done, and what has happened to the world." "Of course," said Minato. "Time skip, you ready?" asked Naruto, as Jubi nodded. As he pushed his chakra into the first seal, as uranium spikes came up, as it started to affect him, it started to affect Jubi as well, as it made her sick to her stomach. "How do you think humans are affected by this?" said Jubi. "If they touch it, they will get infected and start to die. I am the only one that can touch it," Naruto said. "Next up," Jubi said. "The barrier," Naruto said. "First I need to find a way for light. I kinda forgot about it. The barrier will suck out the sunlight." "I can solve that problem," Jubi said. "I can create an orb of energy at the top of the barrier, so it will spread light through the area." Naruto nodded as he went through hand sign, as he placed his hand on the spiked uranium. Jubi started to cough as she collapsed to the ground. "Why is this affecting me so much?" she said, as the uranium started to spread out. "It's a heat," Naruto said. "It's molting with the metal. But it's nothing, Naruto said as he forced the barrier up even further. Meanwhile, with the four Kages and the shinobi, they saw the black outline forming. Were they being trapped inside? What the hell is happening, May asks. As Onki, the Raikage, Gaara, all of them watched as the barrier started to form, as everything went upwards and connecting them in like a dome, as the sun was cut out until they were all put in complete darkness. What the hell? Many shinobi screamed. A glowing green orb floated upwards as it filled the entire place with light. Is this the Akatsuki's doing? A asks. Who knows? Maybe it's a weapon that Shinigami gave us, said Mei, as Oniki shrugged in agreement. I don't think so. I can feel the power in the barrier. It's dark, Saya said, as she yawned, as she left her tent, as Killer came out of the one that was next to hers. Suddenly, two figures entered the area to be revealed as Minato, and an unknown next to him. Hokage, who is that? Asked Mei. Is the barrier from the seal that you unleash, Hokage? Asked the Raikage. Is this the true power? Asked Onki. What is this weapon? Asked Gaara. The seal did not create a weapon, or did it create a shield barrier? It brought someone back to life from a long time ago, said Minato, as he pointed towards the man. He's the only one with the power to defeat the Jubi and has done so before, Minato stated. That's impossible in the legends. Only the Sage of Six Paths can defeat the Jubi, Sakura said as she walked over. As many of the other shinobis walked forward, as well as Saya and Killer Bee. Exactly, said Minato. Are you telling us that he's the Sage of the Six Paths, the most powerful man to walk the earth? Mei asked. It is nice to meet you all, the sage said. I was informed of the circumstances, and I will do my best to help you all. How exactly is this possible? Mei asked. The Shinigami and I are good friends, so we make a deal. I know one day that Jubi will rise again, and I know that no one will be able to defeat her, so I need to be here to come back. So you guys might have a chance of winning. She's the ultimate unbalance of this world, but I had hoped that she would turn into a human back again once she gained the emotion of love. As the sage sighed, what do you mean? Asked A. Jubi lost all sense of moral after killing her grandfather. I hope after watching the human world for centuries she will gain some moral. Unlike the Bijou, she can turn back into a human if she repents. You can call it that, the sage said. She's the ultimate unbalance. If she gained the last two Bijous, even I will have trouble fighting her. She has grown powerful over the years. What will we do to fight her? Saya asked. I am gathering my power, thus I will not be able to do much until I greet the Jubi. I can see a rising of great power, and also this shield that we're in. There's a toxic thing spreading through the air. What must the Jinchuriki do? Asked Oniki. They will fight. I will fight the Jubi. The two Jinchuriki will fight Naruto, and the rest of you will fight the army that they have brought. If no army arrive, help fight Naruto, the sage said. Meanwhile, with Naruto and Jubi, Naruto put a seal in active that will release all of the uranium in 6 hours time. At that time, if Jubi hasn't defeated Sage of Six Paths by then, oh well, he knew to do this as soon as possible, so it was set off by the end of the day. In the next 6 hours, all of the uranium will be released, and then we both need to move on to the final stage, Naruto said. I understand. I can totally defeat that bastard by that time, Jubi said, as she cracked her knuckles. Whatever, just be prepared, Naruto said, as he stood up and stretched his arms. I'm going to store some of my power aside for the bomb, but I'm going to fight. Though I'll do my best not to fight, I need as much chakra when we perform the bomb, Naruto said, as Jubi nodded. Even as a demon you can still be killed, Jashin said. How exactly, Naruto asked. They must rip off your arms, your leg, and your head before bleeding your body out. Only a Bijou or Jubi's healing ability can heal from this. Jubi would be able to heal in a day, Jashin said. Thank you very much for this information, Lord Jashin-sama, Naruto said. It is nothing. Good luck, Naruto, Jashin said, as his presence vanished. Come on, Naruto, I can sense the real scent of Mother Uchiha. The Fate One must have brought him back to life. I wouldn't have to if you had told me about this damn shield, said a voice, as two figures walked into the field. Tobi, Madara. Jubi looked at them both. Hello, Jubi, said the real Madara. I'm guessing he's going to fight the Shinobi army, and Jubi's going to fight the Sage of Six Paths, Naruto said. The Sage of Six Paths, Madara said, as he turned towards Tobi. He wouldn't know. The Sage of Six Paths got revived thanks to the help of the Shinigami King, said Jubi. When will the attack commence? Madara asked. As soon as possible, Tobi and Jubi said at the same time. If you guys defeat them soon enough, I can get you out before we blow up the whole place, Naruto said. Soon enough, Madara asked. At most, you have 10 hours, Naruto lied, as he smiled. That is more than enough time, said Madara. Let's move out then. As they walked off. 15 minutes later, the four was 5 feet away from the Shinobi army. Sage, said Jubi, as Madara and Tobi looked at all the Kages and also the Shinobis. Naruto, said Saya as she clenched her fists. Saya, he said, as he stepped forward. The war then broke out as Madara went to fight the Kages, as Tobi went to fight the allied Shinobi forces, as Jubi threw the first punch at the Sage, as he caught her hand and swung her around and threw her a distance away, as he jumped over there. While all of this was going on, Killer Bee was waiting for Saya to snap on her brother. Naruto, before we fight, I have to ask you one thing. Why did you kill Mom? Saya asked, walking to him slowly. Why I killed her? Honestly, I have no idea. I just like the feeling of blood within my hands. I knew if I killed her, I would break both you and Dad, he said. I wonder, would you fight me alone? Or have Killer Bee fight beside you? Huh? Are you a coward, Saya? Naruto asked. I am not a coward, she shouted. This fight is supposed to be between us. So will you fight me alone? Or be a coward and have someone else fight at your side, Naruto asked. I am not stupid, Saya said. Then you know our fight will end it all. And it is only between us, Naruto said. Killer Bee, go help the Kages with Madara. I'll take him, Saya said. Are you sure? Asked Killer Bee. Yes, Saya said, as Killer Bee nodded as he moved out. As Saya's body became engulfed with the Kyuubi's chakra, as Naruto pulled 2 silver blades, as he dashed towards her, as she dashed forward as well. Meanwhile, Jubi growled as she tumbled across the ground. As she stood up and watched, the Sage dashed towards her. He threw multiple punches and kicks towards her, as she dodged in an attempt to throw others back. Their speed got quicker and quicker before you couldn't even track it with the human eye. Jubi's fists started to be covered in her chakra, but each one still got blocked or dodged. Jubi jumped back, fire style. Sunrat Dragon, she said. As she flipped through handstands, she let loose an income of molten lava. The Sage jumped back as the lava turned into a dragon that fly up into the air, and then dashed down towards him. The Sage jumped straight up as he dodged it, as lava hit the ground and spread out, as Jubi went through another set of hand signs. Ice release. Ice on fire barrier, Jubi called out, as she formed a thin, flat layer of ice over the lava, keeping it from spreading out any further. The Sage landed on the ice, but it started to crack under his feet as lava started to seep out. Yin Yang release. Attack of a dancing leaf, the Sage said, as he blew out strips of white and black that formed together as he took the form of leaves. As it twisted around with multiple leaves inside, as it created a tornado that rushed right into Jubi. As it exploded upon her, as the ice exploded, as lava spread all around, the Sage out everything with water, the high pressure water. As Jubi got wet. Damn it, I hate you, she said as she dashed towards him. He dodged multiple punches as he started through some of his own, as he landed one in her stomach that sent Jubi flying. She slammed through a giant, thick bark. She stood up and growled, "Why do you hate me?" "It's because I make you realize you don't need to be a demon to become strong," the Sage asked, looking at her. "I hate you because you took me from this world, stunting my power growth. If I had stayed here, I would have been more powerful than I am currently. If you never cut me into pieces," she said. "Water style, water dragon," she said, as she blew out tons of water that just multiplied and turned into a 10-story dragon. It launched right towards the Sage, but he dodged, but it spun around and swallowed him. Jubi then turned the entire dragon into ice. She smirked and dashed forward, ready to shatter it into pieces. But the dragon exploded as the Sage came out, drenched in water and pieces of ice on his clothing. "I sealed you away because you wouldn't stop harming humans. You were killing more and more. I dread that you would kill children next. Screw you, Jubi said. As he caught her fist, yin-yang release, drainer, he said. As he pulled out one tail worth of chakra out of her. The same that would create the Ichibai. No, Jubi said as she pulled her fist back as a black chakra ran from her body straight into the sage's hand. The sage then sealed the chakra into a kanji on his arm, which he will use to recreate the Bijus later on, if he can defeat Jubi. You care for Naruto, do you not? The sage asked. Of course I do, Jubi growled, wondering why he stopped moving. Then you should know, either he or his sister will die today. Surrender now and I will stop the fight, or continue, and I will defeat you. I'll recreate the Bijus, and I'll seal you away again, and Naruto will die. I will not lose Naruto, it doesn't matter what you say, and I'll kill you, she said, as she dashed forward. Dark Agent Wolf, spinning barrel attack, she said, as her chakra exploded outward from her body, as it wrapped tight around her, as she was covered in her black chakra, as she dashed toward the sage. But she then vanished, as the sage was unable to dodge the next attacks, as she delivered multiple strikes on him, as she finished the final strike with a powerful roundhouse kick to the face that sent him smashing into a boulder that broke into pieces. Art of healing, in and out body healing, the sage said, as he quickly healed his body, as the black mist around Jubi vanished. I forgot about your little tricks of yours, but I won't let myself forget again, Jubi said. Stop holding back and let's fight for real, Jubi said. If I must, the sage said, as he shook his head as a sad look came on his face, like he didn't want to do what he was about to do. As he brought his hands together, Art of Elements, Fire Wind Tornado, he said, as he pushed his hand out towards Jubi. As a massive tornado, wind and fire was tearing out the ground coming towards her, as Jubi saw something slap right into the barrier. During the fight with Naruto and Saya tried to slam her Rasengan in Naruto's back, but he jumped up in the air and he thrusted the bones towards her, as he scratched her on her arms. Ah, don't worry, Saya. I'll make your death as painless as possible, he said, as he dashed towards her. Like you'll be able to kill me, Saya said, as Naruto formed multiple blades, swiping them at her. I've become much stronger since the Chunin exams, as she created many hands from the chakra cloak, as each of them create a Rasengan and drive them towards him. Naruto held up his hand, uranium release, shuriken blast, he said, as she saw green energy come from his arm, as they turned into shurikens, solid shurikens, as they thrust towards her Rasengan, but they exploded before they could reach, sending a boom that sent Saya flying as she smashed into a boulder. Her yellow chakra faded away from around her as she fell to her knees, as she coughed up blood from her mouth. As Naruto appeared in front of her and drive a blade right into her left thigh, she screamed out in pain as he drive another into her right thigh. As he placed the blade right in front of her face, Saya then let out a primal scream as a mix of red and yellow chakra exploded from her, as the giant nine-tailed fox was formed. As Naruto watched, you can transform just like the Hatsumi Jinchuriki, he said. No matter, I can still defeat you somehow, he said, as the Kyuubi ran at him, swiping his paw down. Naruto jumped backwards, but the wind and the pebble and the debris smashed into him as it sent his body flying back even further than he wanted. But he flipped over and landed on a thick tree branch as he went through hand sign. Uranium release. Liquid tar, he said as he opened his hand. Liquid uranium poured out of his hand into a thick substance, just like tar, really, as it formed into a thick piece of rope. As he thrust it forward as it wrapped around the Kyuubi and started to spread out. The roars and thrusting of the Biju was stopped as the uranium fully covered it. As the uranium started to spread over, as it created a green statue of the Kyuubi covering it completely. But it then started to crack, but it started to reform as it started to crack even more. Fire style, blasting stream, Naruto said, as he released a big fireball that hit the uranium with pure heat energy, as it exploded. Meanwhile, Jubi started to transform into her animalistic form. I can still fight, she said. I am still gonna kill you. Meanwhile, with Madara and the Kages, Madara smirked as he watched all of the 5 Kages were spread out, covered in their own blood and dust and debris. They hadn't been much fun and not much of a threat after all. They were like a child facing off against a grown adult. As Madara never showed them any mercy, as he put them in their place. As he glanced at the area, as 2 explosions just went off, as he wondered what caused those incidents. As he started to walk forward, as he took a glance at the 8 tails, as he just sneered, even he wasn't a threat. It was time for him to create a final piece in this war, no matter what. Meanwhile, Naruto looked over as he saw Saya as she was on the ground, as she was not moving. As he felt pain in his chest. He wasn't wounded, but he felt pain in his chest. Well, it looks like he will have to set off the bomb even earlier than expected, as he looked back at Saya. Meanwhile, Jubi rushed at the sage in her animal form, yin yang release, draining strings, he said, as he wrapped strings all around her, as Jubi let out a roar. As the sage pulled on the strings, causing a lot of chakra of hers to be pulled out and run down the string into his arm. Jubi flashed her when the string started to pop, but by the time when she was out, the sage already had enough chakra to create the 1 and the 2 and the 3 tails. But Jubi still had more chakra to use. Meanwhile with Naruto, he was standing, and out of nowhere, a wind and a fire attack hit him so brutally his body was sent smashing into a tree. As the skin, you could see his bones as he was burned and torn up really badly. But thanks to Jashin, he was still alive, as Naruto had no idea where that came from. As he picked up himself, he then heard coughing. As he coughed up some blood himself, he looked over. "He left her alive," said a voice. "Indeed, shall we finish off the deed?" As Naruto recognized them, it was both Madara and Tobi. His sister was alive and he did not want them to hurt her. He then shot up and created 2 blades, one for each hand, as he dashed forward, as his mind was not thinking properly, as he was also wounded badly. As he thrust the blades forward into the 2 body, but then he felt the unimaginable pain as he let out a scream. "You cannot kill us like that," said a voice. As the voice chuckled that disturbed Naruto, something was wrong. As more pain started to explode in his body, as he felt his life, it was fading away. Why? Meanwhile with Jubi collapsed on the ground as black chakra started to ooze out of her body, as she was crying out in pain. As the chakra around her, it started to turn blue. The sage walked over. "The gods are getting involved." "But why?" he said. He then frowned. "No, they're not getting involved. They're pushing the prophecy to the end," he said. "You're losing your demonic form. You're turning back into a human," he said. As he looked into her eyes, they weren't demonic anymore. They looked humanish. "All my demonic power! What the hell did you do?" she cried out. "I didn't do anything. The Shinigami didn't tell either of us. The final act of the prophecy," the sage said. "Your power is still great. If you continue to train their human form, you can eventually match your power to mine. Your power is much weaker though." As Jubi collapsed down, "I'm done," she said. "Go make sure Naruto is okay." As the sage looked at her, "You said he would be alright. Just go and look," she said. Meanwhile, something was wrong with Naruto. He was getting crazy as Madara's body burst into paper, as his sister's dying body was on the ground, as Tobi's body got ripped into shreds. Did I do that?" he said. "Why did I just feel so powerful? What just happened?" Naruto, as he turned to see his sister's mangled body on the ground, as he rushed towards her. He did this. He killed one of the people he cared for in this world. Why? Did he go insane?" "You killed me," Saya said, as she laughed dryly. "You look different, you know," she said. "What do you mean?" said Naruto. "Your eyes. They're glowing," she said. "Wait, that only happens when the Jubi chakra is alive and well inside of you," the sage said behind him. As Naruto turned, "Did you kill her?" he asked, as anger was boiling up in his chest. "No, she's alive, but human." The Shinigami let out a few pieces of the prophecy, the sage said. What am I then?" Naruto asked. "You are the new Jubi. You are the new 10-tailed beast. Your chakra is not unbalanced though. It's more like a light gray, a good mix of yin and yang. You don't unbalance the balance of the world, the sage said. With your chakra, I can revive all of those who died in the shinobi forces and the Kagis. Jubi is now human and you're the next Jubi. You have no point in this. What is the point of going to hell when Jubi cannot come with you, he said. Will it revive my sister and keep Jubi alive, Naruto asked. Jubi is already alive. She will live out her human life, the sage stated. My bomb will go off in an hour or so. I can defuse it, and you can revive everyone who lost their life in the battle today, except for Madara and Tobi, the sage said. Naruto looked at Saya as he thought about Jubi. I'll do it, he said. Naruto watched the sage drew symbols on his hands and pushed chakra into it as they started to glow, as it glowed brighter and brighter and brighter and spread across the area. As more of the flashes, they fly from Naruto's hand and shot up in the sky. More and more flashes came out before one final large flash came out. As Naruto started to hear people screaming, they were screams of joy. Another shot then came out and slammed right into the barrier as the barrier started to crack as it exploded and blew away. As the sage pulled back his arm as he looked at Naruto with a smile on his face. Why was he so happy? Naruto wondered. Naruto, said a voice as he turned as Saya crashed right into him as she started to cry in his chest. Why are you thanking me? I'm the one that started it all, Naruto said. But you ended it, Saya said. Why are you so sad, she said as she looked at his face. I killed our mother. If it wasn't for the technique that the sage used, all of the shinobi forces would be dead. Because of me, if he hadn't defused the bomb, everyone would have been dead. You are letting your demonic emotions take control. You twisted the prophecy around. You saved all of them, the sage said. That is when he noticed groups and group of shinobis were coming into the area. Saya, said Minato as he grabbed her into a hug. I'm so glad you're okay, he said. Dad, Naruto was the one that saved us. As everyone went quiet, the people then started to scream Go Namikaze twins, as Naruto was confused. Why were they accepting him? He was the one who did this in the first place. Naruto, I'm so happy you're safe. As Naruto saw Jubi rushing towards him, as she hugged him tightly. Jubi, he blinked. I am so happy, Naruto. The last time I felt this happy, it was when I was with my mother, Jubi said. Thank you for giving me back this happiness. As the anger, the vengeance, all of that no longer flow within Jubi. Naruto had complete balance, and it took away all the madness. When Jubi was first sealed into him, it started to corrupt him in ways, and now that all of that is gone, he started to see things more clearly, and so did Jubi. She was no longer a demon, but Naruto had full control over his demon powers. A happy ending, Naruto said. As Jubi smiled, how about we go and find Kimimaro, she said. As Naruto didn't know why, but for some reason, he couldn't feel any type of happiness. Years passed since the ending of the 4th Great Shinobi War. Minato had Kushina properly buried, as he was disappointed that Naruto and the Sage technique did not bring her back. Well, she didn't die in the barrier, so she wasn't revived. As Minato and Saya visit Kushina burial every month, as Naruto lived with Kimimaro and Jubi, as they lived in a secret compound that they didn't tell anyone where it exactly was. But usually you could see one, or even the 3 of them, coming to buy supplies. Jubi didn't have as much raw power as she did before, but she did have all of the bloodline the same way, so she could still get stronger and stronger. With the Sage, well, he decided to live out the rest of a life that he has been re-given. He renewed the seal when he was about to die, just in case he was needed in the future. He taught in all villages. He also recreated the Bijus. As Sasuke decided to put in plans to rebuild the Uchiha clan, with Naruto and Jubi's help if he can convince them. He'll be able to regrow the Uchiha clan by adopting orphans and having the Sharingan gifted to them. As the world was at complete peace. As Naruto wondered how long it will last, how long the era of peace will continue until it pushed up again. And yeah guys, that's it for the story and I hope you guys enjoy. But as I said, don't be sad guys because new what ifs are coming soon enough. So just stay in tune and relax. But for now, I'm out. This will be the final time you hear me say what if a 10 tail was sealed inside Naruto. See you guys. Peace.